The news broke like a thunderclap across Zhongnanhai, not through a press conference, not through any official statement, but in a way that sent a chill through the heart of China's political elite. It appeared as a cryptic headline: "Top military officials under investigation for serious violations." The words were vague, but the implications were unmistakable. The language was familiar, a code often used in China's political playbook, but this time, the names behind the accusations were shocking. The very architects of China's modern military machine, men who had shaped the nation's defense strategy for years. These were the men entrusted with Xi Jinping's dream of military supremacy, the trusted commanders who stood at his side during grand parades and secret briefings alike. The report vanished quickly, scrubbed from official channels, but the shockwave it sent through Beijing was irreversible. The city's power brokers were left reeling, uncertain who might be next. In Beijing's corridors of power, the announcement was an internal explosion. Conversations grew hushed, and the usual confidence of the elite gave way to anxiety and suspicion. For weeks, rumors had swirled, whispers of disappearances, canceled meetings, and sudden reassignments, but this was something different. This was a public decapitation, a message sent in broad daylight. The commanders of the PLA rocket force, China's elite missile unit, were gone. These were the officers responsible for the nation's most advanced weaponry, the guardians of its nuclear arsenal. Their faces, once fixtures of state media and military ceremonies, were erased overnight. Photos were edited, names removed, and their presence wiped from the public record. Foreign correspondents scrambled for answers, piecing together fragments of information. Inside China, censors worked overtime, scrubbing social media and blocking keywords, but the truth still leaked out through encrypted chats and hushed phone calls. The world watched as the story unfolded: a leadership in turmoil, a military in crisis, and a president making his boldest, most dangerous move yet. Allies and rivals alike wondered what would come next. This was no routine anti-corruption campaign, it was a purge, reminiscent of darker chapters in China's history, when power was consolidated through fear and force. It was a calculated strike at the heart of China's most sensitive military branch, a move designed to send a message to every corner of the armed forces. Loyalty to the party, and to Xi, was non-negotiable. The men who once held the keys to China's nuclear arsenal were now prisoners of the state, their fates uncertain, their legacies erased in an instant. The implications were staggering, not just for China's internal stability, but for the entire Indo-Pacific region. Allies grew nervous, adversaries watched for signs of weakness, and the global balance of power seemed to teeter. As the world digested the news, one question echoed louder than the rest: what does this mean for Taiwan? For the first time in years, the answer was anything but clear. Picture the Great Hall of the People, its vast marble halls echoing with anticipation, just before the purge became public. The air was thick with ceremony, but beneath the surface, something seismic was about to unfold. The annual National People's Congress, a sea of suits and uniforms, unity on display. Every year, this gathering is meant to project the image of a nation marching in lockstep, its leaders and military elite presenting a front of unwavering solidarity. But look closer. Empty seats in the front rows, reserved for the PLA's top brass, stood out like missing pieces in a carefully arranged puzzle. Their absence was impossible to ignore. These weren't absences from illness, but calculated vacancies. General Liu Chao, rocket force commander, and his political commissar, General Xu Zhongbo, gone. Their aides offered only vague excuses, fueling rumors and speculation among the ranks. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Everyone sensed something was wrong. Whispers rippled through the hall as officials exchanged uneasy glances, each wondering who might be next. Behind the scenes, the reality was brutal. A climate of fear gripped the Central Military Commission. Surveillance intensified, and trust evaporated overnight. The investigation was swift and unforgiving. Military compounds sealed, officers detained, families separated. The machinery of the state moved with chilling efficiency, leaving no room for escape or appeal. No lawyers, no due process, just the cold machinery of party discipline. Those targeted vanished behind closed doors, their fates decided in secret. This wasn't about a few bad apples, it was a systematic dismantling of a power network. Files were opened, interrogations began, and the message was unmistakable: no one was untouchable. The purge reached deep, ensnaring deputies and subordinates. Even those who thought themselves safe found themselves under scrutiny, as the net widened. Xi Jinping's message was clear. Absolute loyalty is non-negotiable. The leader's presence loomed over every decision, every action, a reminder that the party's will is supreme. The PLA serves the party, and the party is Xi. In this new order, personal ambition or divided loyalties would not be tolerated. Any hint of dissent or wavering allegiance would be crushed. Surveillance was everywhere, and the consequences for disloyalty were swift and severe. The empty seats were more than a reshuffle. They were a warning. In the great hall of the people, absence spoke louder than words. Loyalty is demanded, and disobedience will not be forgiven. The purge swept away the rocket force's top echelon, General Li Yuchao, his deputy Liu Guangbin, former deputy Zhang Zhenjiang, and political commissar Xu Zhongbo. Even procurement and development arms weren't spared. Lieutenant General Wu Guohua reportedly died under mysterious circumstances. Why now? Officially, corruption. Unofficially, a perfect storm of graft, incompetence, and political paranoia. Allegations surfaced of hollowed-out missiles and useless silos, catastrophic failures for China's deterrent. For Xi, who staked his legacy on military modernization, such betrayal was unforgivable. But many analysts see corruption as a pretext. The timing coincides with soaring Taiwan tensions. Some theorize Xi, reviewing invasion plans, was confronted with unsettling weaknesses or doubts from his generals. In Xi's system, hesitation equals disloyalty. The purge clears the path for loyalists who promise victory at any cost. By removing the old guard, Xi ensures the military's guns point exactly where he wants. The immediate consequence? Operational chaos in the PLA. The rocket force, China's missile crown jewel, lost its entire senior command, akin to removing the brain from a complex organism. New commanders, outsiders to rocketry, now lead a force they barely know. This leadership vacuum slows decisions, saps morale, and risks critical errors. Allegations of defective missiles cast doubt on China's warfighting capability. Xi's quest for control may have weakened his war machine at a critical moment. The dragon's armor now shows cracks. Will Xi pause or strike before they widen? Across the Taiwan Strait, the purge triggered both anxiety and analysis. For Taiwan's 23 million people, invasion is a daily threat, not an abstraction. Every mainland shakeup is scrutinized for its impact on their survival. Taiwan's defense ministry scrambled to assess the implications. A destabilized PLA could be more dangerous. Xi might lash out to prove control. The US and regional allies increase patrols and consultations, wary of miscalculation. For ordinary Taiwanese, the news is another layer of anxiety. War or peace feels closer than ever. Cafes and talk shows buzz with questions. Is war more likely? Are we ready? Can we count on the US? The purge is a stark reminder. Taiwan's democratic future hangs in a precarious balance. Every move in Beijing could change their lives forever. Around the globe, military analysts and intelligence experts are racing to decode the true meaning behind the recent sweeping purge within China's People's Liberation Army. The sudden removal of top generals and commanders has sent shockwaves through defense circles, sparking intense debate and speculation about President Xi Jinping's ultimate intentions. Some, like Dr. Ian Easton, interpret this as a glaring sign of weakness. Evidence that Xi has discovered his military is deeply riddled with corruption, incompetence, and perhaps even disloyalty. For these analysts, the purge is a public admission that the PLA is unprepared for a major conflict, especially one as risky as an invasion of Taiwan. In this view, Xi's actions are a desperate attempt to fix a festering problem that should have been addressed years ago. The scale and speed of the crackdown suggest panic at the highest levels, rather than confidence. This perspective implies that any plans for an imminent invasion are now on hold. Xi must first rebuild trust, restore discipline, and overhaul the military's capabilities before considering such a high-stakes gamble. Yet others, like Lyle Goldstein, warn of a far darker motive. They argue that Xi is not just rooting out corruption, but systematically removing any commander who isn't fully aligned with his personal ambitions, especially those related to Taiwan. In this scenario, loyalty is valued above all else, even above competence or experience. It's a classic move by authoritarian leaders. Surround yourself with loyalists, no matter the cost to effectiveness. This could actually accelerate the timeline for a potential invasion, as dissenting voices and cautious strategists are silenced or removed from the decision-making process. Surrounded by yes men, Xi risks making catastrophic miscalculations. Without honest feedback or critical advice, the dangers of groupthink and overconfidence grow. The seasoned professionals who might have warned of the risks or urged caution are now gone, leaving a dangerous vacuum at the top. Xi is constructing an echo chamber, a closed circle where war is not just discussed, but increasingly seen as inevitable and perhaps even necessary for his legacy. The purge, then, could be a terrifying step toward open conflict, not a move away from it. The world must take this possibility seriously. In the end, it's not just Xi's words that matter, but the faces and voices of those who remain to advise him. Who stands at his side may reveal more than any official statement. As tensions rise and the world watches, the stakes have never been higher. The decisions made in Beijing could shape the future of the entire region, and beyond. Taiwan's response is not panic, but resolve. President Lai Ching-te urges vigilance. We do not seek conflict, but we will not shy away from it. Taiwan accelerates its porcupine strategy, acquiring mobile, lethal weapons to make invasion costly. The goal: deter Beijing by turning the island into a fortress. Civil defense movements grow, citizens train in first aid, communications, and basic combat. Groups like Kuma Academy prepare civilians to resist occupation. Morale in the military is up. Frontline troops train relentlessly, knowing they are the tripwire. The mood is readiness, not fear. Taiwan is not waiting to be rescued, it's preparing to defend itself. The message to Beijing: you'll face not just an army, but an entire population. The island's unity is its greatest strength. Does the purge make invasion more or less likely? The answer is a paradox. In the short term, chaos in the PLA makes a successful invasion less likely. Coordination and trust are shattered. This disruption buys Taiwan and its allies precious time to prepare. But long-term, the picture darkens. Xi is not cautious. He's driven by ideology and destiny. By purging dissenters, he's building a military that will obey without question. The act that weakens the PLA now may strengthen Xi's resolve to use it later. The risk: a leader surrounded by sycophants, convinced war will be swift and victorious. The purge has lowered capability, but dangerously raised the stakes. The world must brace for the consequences of Xi's gamble. The tremors from China's purge ripple far beyond the Taiwan Strait. Indo-Pacific stability, vital to global trade, is now shadowed by uncertainty. Allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia are re-evaluating their security. The world sees that China's military might rests on a foundation riddled with political rot. Intelligence agencies must now look beyond hardware to the human factors that decide wars. The economic risks are profound. A Taiwan conflict could devastate global markets. The purge is a lesson. For Xi, political loyalty trumps even military readiness. In our interconnected world, a power struggle in Beijing can shape the fate of millions.